The people's quote of the day: whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. You are now listening to episode 9 of the People's Mentors podcast featuring yours truly, Juan Pablo. DJ Cool, play a thoughtful instrumental, sir. All right, we're back. Thank you guys for joining into the podcast. Today's topic of discussion: think and grow wealthy. Shout out to Napoleon Hill, who's the author of the infamous book, Think and Grow Rich. So today's topic: think and grow wealthy. Now we'll be discussing several things, 5 things in today's podcast. Number 1, be definitive of your wealth goals. Number 2, set up reminders to think wealthy. 3, use undesirable thoughts and surroundings as a signal for you to think wealthy. 4, congruence. And number 5, take action on your thoughts. So today's podcast episode was inspired by a question I received from one of our fans on our Instagram. So shout out to you guys on Instagram who send me DMs all the time. That's why I wanted to do this Instagram live today, because I'm actually recording this live right now. And the question I received from a viewer on IG was the following: Juan, how were you able to get your dream car? Great question. So allow me to explain my own personal story. I always like to use a personal story as a transition in a podcast. So a friend of mine, the Instagram person actually reached out to me about this. And I explained to this individual, well, I was able to obtain my dream car, which is a BMW i8. It's a 2017 i8, right? Thing's pretty, man. It's a hybrid vehicle, so it has electric, has gas, it's full of technology. It's like one of the sexiest hybrids out there on the market. 1 billion times sexier than that Leaf. If you guys ever seen that, right? Not to knock anyone who has a Leaf, but this car is amazing, right? It's a head turner. Every time I drive up to a gas station, people be looking. They want to start a conversation simply because of the ride. All right, so I'm going off on a tangent. Let me get back. So I explained to the person who sent me a DM on Instagram, well, my friend, I thought like a wealthy person. What do you mean? Well, I have a YouTube video about how wealthy people think, especially in regards to their toys, and this is how they think. If they want to obtain some type of asset, now it's a durable asset. It's not an income-producing asset, but the car could be an asset, right? Because I'm treating it as an asset, actually, to produce income, because I have it on Toro, renting it out as well. But I told them I was able to fund my dream car by obtaining a 9-unit in November of 2017. So I owned it for several months, receiving cash flow, bought it with partners, creative financing, and a 6-unit, which we're going to be closing pretty soon in May, June, probably in June, because we're near the tail end. So I'll say June just to be safe. So that 9-unit plus the 6-unit is 15 units. And if I try to calculate at least $100 profit per unit, that's $1,500 a month that I can use to finance the car. That covers the car payment, insurance, gas, etc. Okay, so that's how I did it. But I thought like how a wealthy person thinks in regard to their toys. They buy income-producing assets first and use the residual income from income-producing assets to finance or fund their toys. In my case, my dream car. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Number 1, be definitive. Carefully think about the wealth you want and write it down. So with the BMW, again, it's not an income-producing asset unless I have it on Toro, which I do. But to some people, if they want a toy just for their own pleasure, like a car just for their own pleasure, not to make money off of it, which is fine. But you have to be definitive. You have to know exactly what it is you want. You just can't say, I want a nice car. No, that's not definitive. You have to be a bit more specific with your goals, with your dreams, with your desires. If you say, I just want an i8, that's still not specific enough. Okay, I want a 2017 i8, still not specific. Okay, I want a 2017 i8 that's two-tone, white and black. How can you get very definitive? Well, for one, you have to see it. And that's where visualizations come into play, right? So when I say, you know what, I want an i8, but I know I have to get more definitive with the i8 that I desire. So let me go to a dealership and see which ones they have on the showroom floor. And crazy enough, I actually got one of the cars that was on the showroom floor, right? And got at a considerable discount as well. So that's what you want to do. You want to be extremely definitive. Now, I'm talking about a toy, right? It's not necessarily builds wealth. We all know that. But if you're thinking about, you know what, Juan, I want to build wealth. Just like you, I want to get into real estate investing. I want to be able to own houses, apartment buildings, so that I can leave an inheritance to my children's children. I'm not at that point right now thinking about toys. I want to be able to have enough passive income to quit my 9-to-5. If you're that person, then be definitive in regard to how much income do you need from your real estate portfolio to quit your 9-to-5. Is it $3,000 a month? Is it $3,200? Is it $32.50? Or how much does it require you to be financially free? Hopefully it's more than $13.50. I'm sure it's a lot more. Yeah, it's cool. So you wouldn't even have enough for gas, bro. He said, "Man, you need to stay at your 9-to-5." But no, we're just joking around, guys. But you have to be extremely definitive in regard to your goals. You have to know it with exactness, okay? And that's what I want you to do. Not just with your passive income, but how many units you need in your portfolio to be able to quit your 9-to-5. And that's what I had to do. I had to be extremely definitive in how many rental units I needed to exit the 9-to-5. Okay, so that's the first topic. Be definitive, think carefully about the wealth you want, and write it down. Use tons of adjectives, by the way. Like I mentioned, a two-tone car. I want it to be green. I want it to be this, but use as many words to describe it as possible. All right, number 2, set up reminders. Well, why would you need to set reminders to think wealthy? Well, because you might think you want to be wealthy, but you got to have a wealthy consciousness in order to receive wealth in your reality. So how do you obtain a wealth conscience? You have to fill your mind with wealth-related thoughts. And you have to be intentional about this, folks. That means that you will have to schedule, and I recommend schedule this in your smartphone at bare minimum 3 times a day with affirmations that go off, that you review them and recite them and visualize them every single time that alarm goes off. Yes, that may seem labor intensive, but hey, what do you have to lose? It's just 3 times a day. Spend 1 to 5 minutes 3 times a day reciting the things you want. So that way, if you're speaking about it, it's guaranteed that you'll be thinking about it. And if you're always thinking about it, you're always seeing it. In a short matter of time, you will obtain the things that you see here in your thinking. Okay, so you really have to be intentional. Set reminders in your phone. Another thing you can do is have whiteboards, whether it's in your office, in your home, in your car window. That's what I used to do. I used to have a magic marker. I would write on every piece of glass, whether it's my bathroom, whether it's my medicine cabinet. I will also have affirmations on my car windshield. Everywhere, whiteboard, every single place I have affirmations to constantly remind me of being wealthy. Always in the positive and always in the present. How I will actually own these things now. Not I will have rental properties. No, I have 13 cash flowing rental properties today. Definitive. Right now. Positive goals. So as I mentioned, you can set these reminders up in your smartphone, in your calendar. You could write them all over whiteboards or wherever else you can write information on. You can have them on your screensaver on your smartphone. So every time you check your smartphone for your time, because I know people wear timepieces nowadays. They don't never check their watch, right? It's just an accessory nowadays, right? People still check their smartphones because they don't know how to read an analog clock. They only know how to read digital numbers on their smartphone. So I know you're checking your phone for your time. If you're doing that, have your screensaver filled with the things you want, reminding you to think wealthy. Okay, let's go into the next thing. Signals. When bad things happen to you in life, use them as a signal to think positive. It's kind of like a car light, right? If you're driving on a highway and your stop engine light comes on, that's just a signal that there's something wrong under the hood. And perhaps you should seek guidance. Go to a mechanic, someone who's an expert, and ask them, hey, what's going on under my hood? And so your mechanic will look things over thoroughly, diagnose the problem, and provide you with a solution, and is willing to fix that problem for you for payment, right? So you should do the same thing. If you realize, okay, something happened with me financially, I tend to keep losing money. I'm never able to save. I'm never able to go to a higher level of income. Every time I get a raise, something happens in my job, I keep getting fired. Every time I win some money or I get an unexpected windfall of cash, something happens. My car breaks down. My body, I have to go to the hospital. Or someone else, it's always happening. Well, that's just a signal that something's wrong under the hood of your subconscious mind, that you continue to attract all of these unfortunate events. So maybe it's a signal you should look under the hood. And if you're unable to look under the hood yourself, then you should reach out to someone for guidance. Reach out to a mentor. Find a mentor. Find someone who's been there, done that, who is at the place you want to arrive at, and seek their guidance. I did the same thing for real estate. I'm a huge advocate for increasing my learning, because I know when I increase my learning, I increase my earning. Okay? So I want you to make sure anytime you experience something unfortunate, when bad things happen, treat them as signals to be positive. So you receive an unexpected bill in the mail. Hey, guess what? This is a signal that I need to get on my affirmations. I need to start thinking positively. Instead of imagining that unexpected bill as something bad, I'm imagining it as something good, like a check. I'll play a mental exercise within the mental theater cinema of my mind that, hey, this unexpected bill is actually an unexpected check. Trust me, guys, that may sound foolish, but I do this all the time. To the point, I receive unexpected checks all the time. It happened. And if you don't believe me, just try it. Try it for yourself, but be consistent about it. When bad things happen, use them as signals to be positive. Next thing, congruency. Well, what do you mean by that, Juan Pablo? I'm glad you asked, my good listener out there. You have to have congruency among your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You can't think, oh, I want to be wealthy. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. But then your actions are not congruent with your thoughts. Well, if you are thinking to be wealthy, does a wealthy people buy a flat screen TV and they only have $1 passive income? Does a wealthy person focus on buying toys first or assets first, as I mentioned earlier in this episode? If you really are a wealthy person, think and act like one. And secondly, if you're a wealthy person, you're constantly thinking like one, and you are taking action, you're not just sitting on the couch, reading all these books, obtaining all this knowledge and doing nothing behind it, but you're actually being an action taker and not a time waster. If you're in that situation, but your words ain't lining up, you keep talking like a BFC, a broke, frustrated chump, broke, living paycheck to paycheck, frustrated. You're always talking bad about how your boss did this or didn't do that, how incompetent he or she is. Just be quiet. You're speaking as if you're a disgruntled employee, which is not congruent with a wealthy business person or real estate entrepreneur. Your words have to line up with your thoughts and your actions, my friend. They all have to be congruent. It's as simple as that. If you catch yourself, because I caught myself, so I understand. I'm speaking about myself firsthand. I will hang out with my employee friends, my colleagues, my coworkers after a hard day, long day at work, and we'll go to the bar, have a couple drinks, and here it goes. We start talking about the supervisor who's not there. But if the supervisor was there, we'd be taking shots with them, right? Give them a high five. But being that person's not there, we're talking about them. We're talking about how the market is, how the 401k is now 201k. Ha, 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 ha. Like, it's really funny. It ain't funny losing money, right? That's no laughing matter. Who would joke about it? Oh, we'll joke about how there's been changes and that we may be facing layoffs and so forth. And we talk bad about the economy, our investments, our employees, our colleagues, our supervisor, our job. We talk bad about our lives. How's that beneficial? How can I expect to be a successful real estate investor and entrepreneur if I'm hanging around with buzzards and speaking like one? I need to be flying with eagles. So once I came to this realization, I realized I had to be congruent, and it's all my own doing, not my colleagues or coworkers. And I had to associate with people who spoke positive and were doing positive things that I wanted to do. So I intentionally associated myself with real estate investors at networking events, people who were actual deal closers, buying properties, getting cash flow. Intention, baby. Next thing, after you think about wealth so much, it'll force you to get off your butt and take action. And that's what I had to mention about the think and grow wealthy. Take action on your thoughts. Don't just think about it all day long and just be a dreamer, but not taking action, not making your dream a reality. So you have to think about your dream so much to the point you get so filled up to the brim of your thought life, right? You have to take action. You're like, you start thinking, you know what? I can't just sit still. I know I might not have the credit right now, but I got to take action. I know I might not have all the money I need right now to buy this 3-unit small apartment building, but I got to take action. I understand I might not have 100% of the information right now, but I have about 75%. It's good enough for me to take action. And that's the point of thinking and growing wealthy, right? You have to think about it to the point it overflows and it overcomes your fear and laziness to take action. Because at the end of the day, that's what's holding you back from your goals. That's what's holding you back from converting your dreams into reality, is either fear or action. You try to mask it by saying, oh, I don't know enough information. That's why I ain't do it yet. No, you knew enough to get started. You were scared. And your laziness, aka procrastination. Oh, I'll just look at this deal Thursday or Friday. Well, by Thursday or Friday, that deal might be gone. Someone may beat you to the punch. Someone who is an action taker will overcome someone who's a time waster. What are time wasters? Procrastinators. Are you a procrastinator? No, of course not. You wouldn't be a procrastinator if you were listening to this podcast episode. So I'm glad you are not. You are an action taker. So I want to make sure you're taking action. There you have it, my friend. That concludes today's topic, Think and Grow Wealthy. I'll summarize the 5 topics today. Be definitive. Set up reminders. When bad things happen, use it as a signal to do something positive, to think about your goals. Congruency. And last, think about it and take action. Okay? Excellent. There you have it, my friend. So now we're going to switch segments in this program. You know it's that time for the People's Champ. All right, shout out to Jeremiah Wise. He was a former coaching student of mine. Great guy. He was in the baking, so he was making good money. Not to share all of his, confidential information, but he was a great guy, making decent money. But he said, you know what? The monetary satisfaction I receive from my 9 to 5 isn't enough. I need more than just monetary satisfaction. I need inner satisfaction. Inner satisfaction, aka I need to feel as if I am executing my purpose in life instead of just working at a job I don't like. And know what he did, guys? He thought about it. He thought and grew wealthy. How? By obtaining real estate. He did enough real estate to the point he was able to become financially free, independent. So shout out to you, Jeremiah Wise, on a job well done. You're the People's Champ of the day.
Listen up. Let's get this money.
This podcast episode is sponsored by 100% Finance. If you're interested in getting started in real estate investing without using any of your own money and would like to obtain business funding, visit 100percentfinance.com to apply for the free consultation. In 2017 alone, we helped small business owners, real estate investors alike obtain over $5.5 million, and you can be in the same position as well. So you can quit your day job via passive income. The link is in the description. All right, my friends, family members, colleagues, all you listeners out there, that's the end of the podcast. So I appreciate you spending a few moments with me, getting some great words of inspiration and motivation. So last word of motivation, think and dream big. So that way you can grow wealthy, extremely wealthy. And I have to say that a lot about being highly motivated, right? And being a big thinker. I think I said this on a previous podcast episode. I'm not sure it was a podcast or YouTube because I do a lot of recording. But I had a conversation with my younger cousin, and he was mentioning to me that he's becoming a realist based upon his association at his colleagues at his 9 to 5. Like, well, why would you want to start a business? Don't you know 9 out of 10 businesses fail? The odds are against you. That doesn't sound realistic. What's realistic is your odds to fail are high. And I had to tell them, bro, dreamers are the ones who change the world, not realists. Because a realist will say, oh, the odds are against you. No, but a dreamer will say, well, that means it's a 10% chance that my business will succeed. That's all I need to get started. So I want to assure you, my friend, if I can do it, you can do it. There was nothing special about me. I used to say this a lot with my family members. They used to say, oh, well, Juan, you were just smart. Or they call me Pablo. Pablito, you were just smart. That's just how you were. I used to tell them, don't disrespect me like that. I wasn't born smart. I wasn't a genius academically speaking. I applied myself. That's it. Hard work, baby. Hard work beats talent any day. So I motivate you. You know what? You don't got to be extremely smart. You don't got to have a 4.0 GPA or a rich family member to give you money. Apply yourself in this game. And first thing you can do to apply yourself is just think wealthy. All right. So that concludes our podcast. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe. So as always, guys, this is to your success. Continue to earn passively, live passionately. Peace.